Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 5 Rounds podcast, the only podcast out there with the cardio for those deep water championship rounds. I am Mags, and I have just finished watching the last UFC event of 2021, UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Daukaus. Yeah, interesting card. UFC going out with a bang over the last couple of weeks after some ho-hum results recently. The fighters pulled out the stops, but it wasn't without its own fair share of controversy. Quite a few people missing weight for this event. But let's quickly go through these prelims. So we started the night with Jordan Levitt picking up the second round sub over Matt Sales. Then a third round knockout in the heavyweight division for Don'Tale Mayes against Josh Parisian. The first person to miss weight, Macy Chiasson, the first ever woman to miss the featherweight cut. She was beaten by a second round sub to Raquel Pennington. Then we had Charles Jourdain getting the decision in the featherweight division against Andre Ewell. Second miss weight, and I think it's the fourth time in her career for Sijara Eubanks. And she was knocked out by Melissa Gatto at the tail end of the third round. And then probably the most controversial one, and again, a first for the UFC, the first ever heavyweight fighter to miss weight, Justin Taffer, coming in 2 pounds over the 265 limit. There has been a time when Greg Hardy, he almost missed weight, was given that extra hour to cut and was able to get under the limit. Justin Taffer, not so much. For him, I mean, he's going to pick up a huge fan from Dana White. That's already been confirmed, but he kind of consolidated that with a huge knockout of Harry Hunsucker. And then we finished the main card with Gerald Meerschaert getting the comeback victory submission against Dustin Stoltzfus. So going on to the main card, we had 6 fights, very, very action-packed main card this for the end of year show. Started in the featherweight division with 2 veterans of the sport, Darren Elkins and Cub Swanson. Both these guys usually come to absolutely stand and brawl, and we weren't disappointed. We started with Darren Elkins looking to finish very, very early with a massive swing. Totally missed, but he certainly signified his intentions there. But this was a Cub Swanson who looked calm, he looked composed, and he looked more focused than we've seen him in a long, long time. And he was quickly feeling out his range. He did get backed up a little bit with a couple of overhand rights from Elkins, and Elkins then went to shoot for a takedown, which Swanson was able to stuff. But he soon quickly got into a rhythm, and he landed a lovely little inside hook come uppercut, which wobbles Darren Elkins. Elkins went into survival mode, goes for the takedown, but that he totally misses Cub Swanson. It's almost like his brain was absolutely mush because he was shooting for Swanson when he just wasn't there. His shots were very, very slow, and Swanson was just landing big hit after big hit after big hit. Elkins wobbled again, dropped. Swanson hits enough to kind of keep the mushy brain effect in place. Goes to land a spinning kick, which just the toes graze Elkins, but it is enough there for Herb Dean to know that Darren Elkins isn't defending safely. And he pulls Elkins to the side and waves the fight off. Not surprised, to be fair, because Elkins was in absolute dreamland, and it's a great victory for Cub Swanson back in the win column there. So then we go into the second fight, this time in the lightweight division, and this was essentially a battle of jiu-jitsu versus European wrestling, sambo style wrestling. Diego Ferreira, Matthias Gamrot, both very, very close in the rankings. I think Diego was like 12th and Matthias was 11th. And this was a really, really entertaining fight. Started quite well on the feet, nothing really clean landing, but a lot of kind of range testing. And then we get the first takedown from Gamrot. He's able to sweep through Ferreira. Ferreira quickly back up to his feet. But Gamrot certainly had that confidence, knowing that he could take Ferreira down when he wanted. Starts peppering with the jab, and Ferreira just had not a lot of retaliation, to be fair. Gamrot gets another takedown, gets in top position. Ferreira is able to kick his way out of danger and gets back to the feet pretty quickly. Gamrot again teasing Ferreira with the shots just so he can do that level change and gets the double leg takedown. And yet again, Ferreira back up to his feet pretty quickly, but it was the case that Gamrot was able to take him down pretty much at will whenever the feeling took him. Ferreira landed some decent shots in the last few minutes of that first round, but yeah, those takedowns scored very, very highly for Matthias Gamrot. Going into the second, Matthias was looking to essentially keep the same game plan. Go for those takedowns and really kind of grind this victory. Ferreira was a little bit more cautious this time and is able to kind of stuff and defend those takedown attempts pretty well. But Gamrot, he knew that was where he was winning the fight, and he kept going for the takedowns. But Ferreira was just not happy on the ground. So as soon as he was on the floor, he was kicking his way with those up kicks to try and get back to his feet, and he was able to do so this time. Then he started to really kind of land some really decent strikes. Landed a nice straight. Gamrot went for the ankle pick that kind of it shook Ferreira. It didn't really take him down, but it took him off balance, and that allowed Gamrot to be able to take the back. Gamrot pulls Ferreira down to the ground, and then we get some clinching up against the cage, and we see Gamrot land some teasing knees, the kind of knees what you hit to more distract your opponent from what the hands are doing. But one of them lands right on the side of the rib cage, and instantly you see Ferreira call out to the ref and verbally submit. I don't think the referee Jason Herzog quite understood what Ferreira was asking for, and Gamrot was able to land another knee and drag Ferreira all the way to the ground. But yeah, once Jason Herzog kind of understood that this was a verbal tap, he jumped in and stopped any more damage from Gamrot. But great victory and kind of real proof that European wrestling is a force to contend with, and it's not a surprise that these Russian and Polish and UK wrestling based fighters are doing so well. So yeah, great victory there for Matthias Gamrot. So going into the third fight of this 6-fight main card, we have Rafael Assan versus Ricky Simone in the bantamweight division. Ricky Simone looking to go 4-0 and really kind of push his way into the rankings in this division. After a pretty interesting start to his UFC career, he kind of fell off a little bit, but he certainly got back onto form, and this was probably his his most high-ranked opponent so far, a legend in UFC with Rafael Assan. And it started off pretty pretty funny with Assan landing a jab. So Ricky Simone, I mean, it was totally accidental, but a quick to the coin purse. And Assan had to stop for a little bit. He didn't take that long, and he was soon back into action, landing some leg kicks and a jab, and then Ricky Simone really kind of started to take the lead in this fight, landing some good front kicks. Then is able to tag with a decent right hand. Assan fired back with a leg kick of his own, and then Ricky Simone gets the first takedown. Tries to posture up for some ground and pound, but when that isn't available, he does well to control Assan on the ground. Eventually, Assan is able to scramble back to his feet, but Simone is not letting go. Goes into to try and get some control up against the cage. Assan tries to jump into a guillotine, but Ricky Simone lifts him up, carries him over to his own corner so he can get some coaching, and is able to slam Assan to the ground. Keeps all of that top control, and Assan, whilst he's not in immediate danger, he was getting very frustrated that he spent a lot of this first round on the floor, and it was a good start for Ricky Simone. Coming out for the second, and Assan knows he doesn't want to kind of overstretch on his strikes now, because he will get taken down, and you can see that he's kind of tentative in wanting to strike. Totally opposite for Ricky Simone. He's very, very comfortable, but using lots of dynamic, almost kind of Clay Guida style movement to come in and out, land punches, and he lands a decent right hand that sees Assan kind of acknowledge, oof, that was a stinger. Then he lands another one that drops Assan to the floor, and this fight is all over. A huge knockout victory for Ricky Simone, and can see him pushing for a top 10 fight in the very near future. Fight number 4 takes us into the women's strawweight division, as we have two fighters who are looking to crack their way into the top 10 in Amanda Lemos and Angela Hill, both just outside that top 10 rankings. When we talk about controversy, this fight, the results certainly for me feels very, very controversial. So the first round starts with Angela Hill, who is always kind of very, very active, always very, very bouncy, got great head movement, got great body movement when it comes to finding a range, and she starts pretty well, able to land some good lefts, but it's very quickly Amanda Lemos lands an Anderson Silva, Vita Belfort, Lyoto Machida style front kick right underneath the chin with the toes. That wobbles Angela Hill, and you can see her scrambling backwards and kind of losing control of her legs, which means that she falls over. Amanda Lemos is able to get inside the guard and posture up, landing some elbows, and it looked like that this was fat all over. But Angela, she's incredibly gritty, and she was able to hold on and recover. Was able to scramble. But Lemos gets hold of the neck and goes for the guillotine. Unfortunately, she's not able to lock up the arms. Angela then is able to work her way out of the being on her back and get back into on top. Gets in half guard. The fight then quickly scrambles back onto the feet, and you can see that Amanda's got all her faculties back, and she's putting the pressure on now, while Lemos is kind of like holding back, almost like she's looking for that one big hit that'll end the fight, which gives Angela the kind of the one-up in terms of output, landing more of those kind of stinging shots that aren't necessarily going to knock an opponent out, but are certainly going to give them plenty of food for thought. Going back into the second round then, and we see Angela doing pretty much starting the same as she started the first round, where she's landing some decent shots, teasing shots. Both fighters trading punches and kicks. We see Amanda Lemos land a decent body kick, which forces Angela Hill to go and try and clinch. That's quickly reversed, and we see that Amanda Lemos has control of Angela up against the fence. Again, that's quickly reversed, and we see it turn into almost like a chess match tussle of people who can get control up against that cage. We can see that it's incredibly tiring for both fighters. Amanda Lemos especially was showing signs that she was taking some deep, long breaths, and her shots were not as snappy as they perhaps were in the first round. Angela was able to control really well against that cage and landing some big elbows. One that looked really clean off the clinch. Then Amanda lands a nice inside leg kick, which is checked, and then we get a hook that Angela checks as well. She then is able to land some more leg kicks, so she's kind of tried to turn up the tempo, but certainly wasn't the output that we saw in the first round. Angela Hill again clinches Lemos and is able to push her up against the cage, land some more knees to the body, and just as we get to the end of the round, we see her landing 2 or 3 decent kicks. It gets into a bit of a scramble, and she almost knocks out Jason Herzog as she's there tussling with Amanda Lemos, and she throws a last-ditch head kick. Amanda's absolutely nowhere near it, and Jason Herzog coming in to kind of separate the fighters. He gets caught a little bit with it, all in good fun. No intention there from Angela Hill, but it just looked really, really funny. So going into the third, and for me, this was the make or break round. I think that Lemos took the first round perhaps because of the takedown, and then Angela Hill really kind of worked her way back into the fight with that really decent second round in terms of action, and it seemed to me that Angela Hill, she was the one doing all the decent work in this third round. A lot of pressure, able to trip Amanda Lemos off a kick. Amanda is able to get to her feet and gets to the fence. She gets a toll from Jason about gripping the fence, but Amanda Hill still has body control. We see Lemos reverse that, and she gets control of the body lock and is trying to get the underhooks. Angela Hill tries to drag the fight to the floor, which happens, and she's able to break away and land some big shots. She rushes forward for a takedown and gets Amanda back to the ground again, but she's not able to keep her down, and she's quickly back up to her feet. But Amanda Lemos looks absolutely knackered, and with about a minute to go, both girls are just giving all that they've got, and for me, Angela Hill looks so much the fresher fighter, landing some big combinations. Lemos was in defence mode, and we see Angela Hill throw a spinning back fist that dropped Amanda Lemos. Not for long. It's not like she was knocked out, more shocked than anything, and she was quickly back up. Angela Hill pushes her up against the fence. The klaxon goes, and we go to the judges. For me, I thought that Angela Hill, after the second and third round, absolutely deserved it. And Mark Bell, the first judge, absolutely agreed with me. Junicho Camacho, that judge went for Lemos 29-28, which I suppose you could make that call, but the shocking one was Douglas Crosby, and this isn't the first time we've seen his name attached to ridiculous scores. He gave the whole fight 3 rounds, 30-27 to Amanda Lemos. How he watched this fight and thought that Amanda Lemos won that second round, and how he thought she clearly won the third round is beyond me. Ridiculous judging, and yeah, I think Angela Hill can feel that she's been robbed of a decision there, and Amanda Lemos was lucky to come away with it after this, but she picks up the victory, and it's back to the drawing board there for Angela Hill. So it's core main event time, and we have a welterweight battle. 5th ranked Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on 10th ranked Belal Muhammad. Muhammad looking to really push his way into the upper echelons of this welterweight division, and a victory over a very dangerous Stephen Thompson would certainly do that. And he got an absolutely well-deserved, dominantly controlled victory. And it's always a tough fight when you come up against Stephen Thompson with his karate skills and his lengthy range. But where he does sometimes struggle is when he goes to ground, especially when he isn't in a training camp with Chris Weidman. Now, obviously, we know Chris Weidman has been out for a long, long while with that broken leg. We saw in the Gilbert Burns fight that not having that wrestling training with Chris Weidman really does affect Stephen Thompson, and I think it affected him in this fight, because going over all 3 of these rounds, we can pretty much call it down to Belal Muhammad controlling Stephen Thompson in terms of ground on the ground, in terms of wrestling. There was a point where the commentary, and especially Michael Bisping, was saying that there was some potential 10-8 rounds in this fight, and it's not because you are destroying your opponent in terms of physical violence, and it's more the absolute control that you have over your opponent, and Belal Muhammad did that for the majority of this fight. His ground control time was almost at 10 minutes in a 15-minute fight. That's absolutely phenomenal. Stephen Thompson was taken down more times in this fight than he's been taken down ever in his UFC career, and Belal Muhammad putting up record numbers for the most amount of takedowns he's ever done in a fight as well. It was just a clinic from Belal in terms of taking down and controlling fighters. There wasn't too many times in the fight where the submission was on. It was more, like I said, the control and being able to switch and transition into different positions to really kind of frustrate Stephen Thompson. There was an interesting part in the first round where Thompson had been taken down, and he was able to kind of press his back up against the cage. Belal was essentially side by side with him with his back up against the cage, but he had the leg of Stephen Thompson trapped, and they were just hitting each other in the faces with haymakers. It was so funny. The way they were just going tit for tat, punching each other in the face. But when Belal had enough of that, he was able to just take Thompson down and flatten him out. And it was just, like I said, this was just a takedown clinic. In the second round, we see an attempt for a Kimura from Muhammad. He tries to isolate the arm, but Stephen Thompson is able to get out. And there was just no I don't know if there was no attempt from Stephen Thompson to get up, or he just didn't have that wrestling acumen that Belal Muhammad had. Going into the third, and immediately we get another takedown. And again, it was up against the fence, and Belal Muhammad really did well to kind of work between body locks and landing punches in the face. And Stephen Thompson was just struggled all the time. He did eventually try and almost get back to his feet, but he was quickly dragged back down to the position on the floor. It was just such a for casual MMA fans, this is going to look like a piss break match. But for people who have any kind of like interest in the technical skill, you'll really be happy with how Belal Muhammad is able to control a very dangerous fighter in Stephen Thompson, and the judges definitely agreed. Two judges giving one rounders a 10-8 with a 30-26, and one judge even giving two 10-8 rounds for a 30-25. But yeah, it was as dominant as a fight you'll see without a finish from Belal Muhammad, and he'll be looking to take Stephen's number in the rankings after that. So here we are, last fight of 2021, and it's one of the biggest stars of the past 3 or 4 years in Derrick Lewis, and one of the up and comers in the heavyweight division in Chris Daukaus. Both of these guys well inside the top 10. I think Derrick Lewis was number 3, and Daukaus is around 7 or 8 in the rankings. So yeah, this could be a pathway back to the title for Lewis, or it could be a real kind of a notch on the post for Chris Daukaus. Very nervy. First minute or so in this fight, not one single punch was landed in the first minute or so. Really kind of a feeling out process, and we see that with Derrick Lewis. Not so much see it with Chris Daukaus. He's normally quite aggressive, but when you're going into the octagon with the Black Beast, you have to have your wits about you. And as I said, with Derrick Lewis, he's always kind of looking to land the big shots rather than putting the output, putting the teasing shots. First punches thrown are actually from Daukaus. Tries for a 1-2 combination, goes for a leg kick. About 90 seconds in, and we still haven't seen anything from Derrick Lewis. Hoping that he hasn't got those kind of big match jitters that he had in his recent title match. But he does throw a leg kick, and then follows that up with a combination that has Daukaus kind of covering up. But Daukaus quickly lands an elbow to give something for Lewis to think about. He does get a warning for Lewis having his fingers outstretched, but he then he eats a right hand from Daukaus. He eats another leg kick. We see Lewis go for the roundhouse. Doesn't land, but it does give him the opportunity to push Daukaus up against the fence, and then we see Derrick Lewis just unloading with just huge shots into Daukaus, pins him up against the cage, landing body shots and head shots, and Chris Daukaus looks like he's been tagged a hell of a lot. Looks a little bit wobbly. He's able to kind of clinch with Lewis and kind of stop the onslaught, but it's not long before Lewis gets loose and starts landing some more big shots again. Lands a knee. Daukaus is trying to escape, and then gets caught with a massive right hand that just crumbles him to the floor. Derrick Lewis again breaks the record for the all-time knockout leader in UFC history with another highlight reel finish. Just destroyed Chris Daukaus puts himself firmly in sight against the winner of Cyril Gagne and Francis Ngannou. I think that's next month. So, yeah, but as always, he has a really funny Octagon interview with Bisping where he says he doesn't want any more of these 5-round fights. So if the title fight is a 3-round fight, he'll accept it. But other than that, don't call his phone. So Bisping asked him if he's going to be watching with bated breath the title fight, and he says no. Him and his wife will be in Jamaica. But yeah, Derrick Lewis back on the winning column. And ending 2021 in style with a huge knockout. And yeah, the UFC ending 2021 in style with a really fun card, and keeping up the run of pretty decent cards in the last few weeks. But yeah, that's a UFC fight night. Lewis versus Daukaus in the bag. Yeah, that's all from me. So you can follow me on Twitter at PodfatherMags. You can follow Carlos at Kirby_Carlos, and you can follow this show at 5 Rounds Pod. Whilst I've got you here, definitely please go and check out some more of the amazing content from all the network partners that we have here at 5 Rounds. So that's Visionaries Global Media, that's Radio Tekkers, and that's of course at The Chair Shot. Definitely go and check out some of those content creators, because they are absolutely amazing, way better than anything that I put out. I am literally riding their coattails. But like I said, that's all from me. So I will be back next week, obviously with some content. But in terms of fights, this is it for 2021. So I wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever holiday or event you subscribe to. I hope you have a fun time and spend it with your families and loved ones. I hope as well you have a happy new year. And yeah, thank you all for listening. And that is the end.